I just wanted to share with you another common topic that I get posed to me with regards to disability for kids, and that's based on behavior. I get this one a lot, where you get a parent that comes in and says that I believe my child is disabled because they're having all kind of behavioral problems. I mean, they're throwing temper tantrums, they're beating on the wall, they're trying to hurt themselves, they're locking themselves in the bathroom. Oh, this child is off the chain. And then you start asking questions. Well, let me tell you some of the questions that I ask that will let me know if a child has a behavioral problem that rises to the level where I believe that disability may be appropriate in terms of applying for disability. First of all, I'm going to ask a very blunt question. Are they on any medication? Now, you're going to sit and say, well, how important is that? Well, let's talk about this for a second. There are certain medications that are fairly commonplace for children. Adderall, Ritalin, usually ones like that for attention deficit disorder or ADD or attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, which is ADHD. And usually, or in some instances, I've seen concern on occasion, but usually what I tell people is when I see that, that doesn't overly excite me. I want to see what kind of medication that they are. Like I had a child that I represented that was on Abilify and one was on Risperdal. Now you would say to yourself, okay, what are those? Those are antipsychotic medication. And usually you don't see medication that is that significant for a child. At least in my experience, I haven't. Now, there may be other parts of the country where other representatives have, but I know in my experience, you don't usually see that kind of medication being prescribed to a child. So if I see that, that's going to catch my attention and let me know we may have something of significance here. Also, I'm going to ask who's treating them. If they're getting treated by their normal pediatrician in the scope of their treatment, I may or may not be overly excited. It just really depends on what that doctor says. But if you're starting to talk about more advanced levels of treatment, i.e. a psychiatrist, a psychologist, a therapist, and we're talking about for a child under the age of 18, I'm going to pay close attention to that because that may let me know that there's some other issues going on. More importantly, I'm going to have more definitive diagnosis from a psychological standpoint or a psychiatric standpoint that I can put my finger on to ascertain how severe this child's condition is. Now, another thing I'm going to ask is I'm going to ask the parents question, but I'm also going to look at the teacher records as well. Let me tell you why. Parent, you're going to be helpful because I'm going to say to you, tell me about this child in the household. What are they like? Do they follow instructions? Are they responsive to authority? Do they listen to what you have to say? If they don't listen to you, do they listen to what any other adult has to say? Are they fighting? Are they hurting themselves? Are they following direction? Are they doing their chores? Are they doing anything that's outside of the norm? Okay, that may trigger you that there's some other issues going on. Then we're going to segue into the school. I'm going to ask, does he have any friends or does she have any friends? Do they play? Are they in activities at school? Are you getting reports from school that there are behavioral problems? Are you having to go up there and pick up your child on numerous occasions because there's problems at school? Moving on to school, I'm going to look at what the teacher records say. I'm going to look at what the academic records say. Have there been absences because of suspensions? Have there been tardies? Have there been complaints in the file about behavioral issues? Has the teacher in her questionnaire or his questionnaire indicated that this child has problems focusing, keeping their mouth shut, interacting with other kids? All of those things are going to be collective to let me know how bad are the behavioral problems that this child may have. And those are the things that you need to be prepared to bring when you go to a representative and you're saying your child is disabled and you believe it's based on behavior. Also, you want to know, does the school have the child in what we call emotionally handicapped or behaviorally handicapped? Some schools have that designation where they take children and maybe they recognize they don't work well with large groups of kids or with other kids, so they put them in a different setting. All those things are collective things that you want to know and that you want to be able to bring so that if you find yourself looking for a representative and you believe your child has a behavioral disorder that you believe prevents them, that keeps them from functioning at the normal level as a normal child, You want to be able to identify those things so that the representative can tell for sure if your child's condition is really